Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Esteemed FaceTime with Leaders, an initiative by World Development Corporation. I am Falak Khan, anchor at World Development Corporation. FaceTime with Leaders is a platform for industry titans to share their experiences, thoughts, ideas, and best practices in order to inspire one another and future leaders. In a nutshell, we attempt to encapsulate the multi-decadal learnings acquired by these industry leaders. We also hope that by conducting these FaceTime with Leaders interviews, we can bring together a global community of eminent personalities. By bringing together such visionaries on one platform, we hope to play a part in inspiring the lives of other leaders. Great learnings from great leaders undoubtedly assist everyone by identifying, nurturing, and using the trade secrets that are proven success formulas for many. And this is what we aim for with these sessions by making them a gathering of industry stalwarts and a knowledge sharing community. We have one such industry stalwart on FaceTime with Leaders with us today, Mr. Ajay Kumar Krishnan. Hello, welcome, Mr. Malial. So let me give you a quick brief about Mr. Ajay Kumar. He is a strategic technology and business leader with an extensive track record of over 3 decades in various leadership roles, spanning the realms of technology and business across diverse domains and global geographies, including EMEA, APAC, and NA. His career is marked by a profound ability to manage the delivery and account management of large-scale projects, client relationships, and business consulting, all while overseeing the complex landscape of digital transformation, greenfield ERP implementations, upgrades, and in-house and captive setups. Currently, he has given his invaluable service to CircleK in the capacity of senior manager, overseeing its development and system support. So, Mr. Krishnan, could you let our viewers know in brief about your career journey so far?
Thank you, Falak. If you speak about my career, as you said, it is spread around 3 decades, 31 years to be exact. I started my career in an oil and gas domain with one of the national oil companies in India. Worked in operations, worked in projects, and then moved to ERP implementation and worked there for close to more than a decade, 14 years to be exact, and then moved on to IT consulting. From then on, it was always IT consulting, which included, as you said, brownfield implementation, digital transformations, business consulting, and I'd worked with multiple Indian IT companies, L&T Infotech, Wipro, IBM, to name a few, handling multiple ERP implementation across the globe. If you say, I mean, working with multinationals like Chevron, Statoil, Fuel and Retail, Otis Elevators, to name a few. Uh, last, as of now, currently what I'm working with CircleK. It was a kind of, I would say, an ambition for me to work in a startup exposure. The advantage in CircleK was CircleK is one of the Fortune 500 company, and this exposure, this tenure gave me the exposure of a startup within a large company, so that you don't worry about the funding part, but then you get the exposure of entire starting up of a company from scratch. So this is in fact a short brief about my overall profession.
So that's really very interesting, I must say. So moving ahead, we want to know what are some of your learnings that have helped you throughout your professional life?
Okay, first thing is to be passionate, because passion is contagious. It rubs on to your immediate teammates, your entire group. Another thing is to constantly keep yourself updated with what is happening in the industry, what's the current technology trends. The third one is the importance of strategizing and planning. Anything, uh, I mean, even if you take a large or a long amount of time for planning, well planned is half the job done. So planning and strategizing is a very, very important aspect of any endeavor, whether it is a project, whether it is a anything, you know, you call it. So that's one of the main learning what I had. adaptability to the situation, because we are in a constantly dynamic, I mean, I would say dynamically changing environment. So unless you're adaptable, you will not be able to survive, because having set values or having, kind of standardized thought processes will not take you. So situations demands different responses. Then I would say collaboration is one thing which helps in the long run, because you can be you can be a superstar in your area of operation or in your sphere, but then there are a team. Unless a team works together, it is difficult. So collaboration is an important aspect. And last but not the least is to be resilient. In your professional life, things do go up and down, because as you say, even in an ECG, if there is a straight line, that means you're not alive. So always there are ups and downs. It pays to be resilient. It pays, when you're down, it pays to hold on, and when you're up, it doesn't, I mean, you don't go overboard. So these are the few learnings which I received in my professional life, and I hope that's what you're looking for.
Yes, definitely. And I must say, truly inspiring. So, my next question to you is, what are some indispensable leadership characteristics according to you?
Okay, again I go back to the same words like passionate, because unless the leader is passionate enough to do anything, the entire team, the entire group, or the entire I would say organization would find it difficult. So he should be passionate to the point of madness, I would say. I mean, that's how things happen. You talk about Steve Jobs, you talk about anyone who was, whom we look upon, they are passionate. Second important thing is to have a clear vision. The vision needs to be communicated out to, you know, where as a leader we would want the organization to go, and also what we would be in years from now, so that people are clear about the purpose and direction. The third thing which I would say is decisiveness. I would say, many a decision, many a action has gone wrong because of not being decisive at the right moment. So being decisive at the right moment is also an important criteria, I would say. Integrity. Unless you walk the talk, lead from the front, you cannot build trust. Another very important aspect which many of us lack or is communication. It's good to be passionate. It's good to be in, with integrity, and it's good to be having the vision. But unless it is communicated out in the right manner, in the right format, to the right stakeholders, there is a possibility of that vision getting diluted. And last but not the least to be is to be empath. I would say empathize with colleagues, empathize with subordinates, empathize with your customers, empathize with your stakeholders. Unless you develop an empathy for your stakeholder ecosystem, it is very difficult for you as well as your organization to survive.
Yes, that's there, and that's very much important as well. So, my next question to you is, we want to know how and when did you develop an interest in ESG and corporate governance?
Right from an early age, I had very strong views about environmental sustainability, social justice, and business ethics, I would say. More than business ethics, it was more ethical, personal ethics. And later, when I moved on to my professional life, it was into business ethics. So, from a personal perspective, and from a professional perspective, I would like to narrate an incident. In my career, I worked in almost close to 15 countries. And in one of those journeys, it was to Kazakhstan. It's an erstwhile CIS country. So I was flying out to their oil fields, So from their the airport where it's called Atirao. So I happened to see multiple oil wells which had been kind of left without being closed in a proper way. A well has to be closed in a proper methodology. Otherwise, it plays havoc with the environment surrounding it, and it kills the entire flora and fauna. And there were many such wells which were kind of left out by the erstwhile Russian army while there was this dismantling of the CIS. That was something which kind of triggered me. And also in my current organization, CircleK, there has been an emphasis on ESG reporting, and you get to learn a lot about what environmental issues, like for example, COVID was one such issue.
Right.
We had landslides in the north, we had floods. So all put together, I was kind of thinking as to what I can contribute as an individual. So that's kind of triggered my interest in ESG and corporate governance.
So that's really great, I must say. So our next question is also to you on the same lines. Like as an ESG and corporate governance expert, what values do you bring to the table?
So I've been always associated with oil and gas industry. I've been and working with multinationals, Chevron, and Statoil Fuel and Retail, Otis Elevators. So I kind of feel that I can provide objective insights on sustainable business models, corporate governance, ESG principles, and of course, best practices and examples. With respect to ethical and responsible, I can emphasize upon transparency, accountability, conservation of resources, and sustainable business practice. Obviously, advocating of effective governance, board structures would be part of that.
Yes, that's really great, I must say. So when we talk about technology, what are some of the most remarkable changes you have seen in your field with changes in technology? And what changes do you expect to see with the advent of IoT, AI, ML, blockchain, big data, and Web 3.0?
Okay. Now I'll let me group it for ease of understanding. Let's look at certain current trends. Advanced connectivity. Okay, that's one area we'll speak about. Applied AI. Then another area is next generation software development, trusted architecture, clean energy, obviously, which is something which everybody talks about, and mobility. Okay. Now, enhanced connectivity. When we talk about enhanced connectivity, what do we mean by that? We talk about 5Gs and the incoming 6G, low power WAN, low Earth satellites. So, effectively, what do? They provide data resilience, increase coverage, reduce the latency, and reduce energy consumption, and also increase data throughput. What does it do? Basically, we have millions and millions of IoT devices which are going to be in play, which may not work with the current whatever connectivity what we have. So with advanced connectivity, with the advent of 5G and 6G, more number of IoT devices can operate across the network. So that's something which is really a trend which everyone should be looking at, because a huge volume of data is going to move across the net, across WAN, LAN, whatever you call it. Then we have mobile augmented reality, virtual reality. So all this would require advanced connectivity. The next one on my list is applied AI. So what is applied AI? Applied AI is machine learning. Then we have, so in machine learning, everybody talks about machine learning. So what is machine learning? So machine learning is creating a structured info out of unstructured data. In industry, now we are moving towards much more beyond machine learning. It is called industrial machine learning. We have uh, hardware devices, which is called vertically integrated and horizontally integrated hardware devices. Then we have heterogeneous computing. I mean, this is the next level of machine learning. We had initial machine learning, then we call it GPUs, the graphical processing units, the tensor processing units. So these are the current advanced trends in machine learning. So when we talk about again applied lay, it's not just with machine learning alone. You have computer vision. Computer vision is something for you scan PDFs, you scan images and draw meaningful outcomes out of it. Then we talk about NLP. NLP is working out of different types of models in deep learning, NLP, deep learning, and creating knowledge graphs. So the entire idea of machine learning, NLP, deep learning is to create meaningful outcomes which can support decision making. You know, data in unstructured form is useless. So this data, whichever is unstructured, needs to be converted into meaningful structures, outcomes which can support decision making. So that is applied AI. The next point I would like to elaborate is next generation software development. We all know about software development, writing codes. If there is any modification which is required in that, you need a developer. Whereas current trend is low code or no code, wherein it does not really require a developer to do that. We have something known as infrastructure as a code. We have microservices and API. Earlier, integration across systems used to be point to point, then it used to be distributed. Now the concept is microservices or APIs, which are plug and play. So integration between multiple systems is much more easier than before. Automated testing, automated code reviews. So these are like the next level of software development. Another important thing, which is a current trend, is the cyber security. So what we call as zero trust architecture. With the this goes with the concept that none of the devices, none of the components in your system is secure. So you devise your architecture in such a way that they, with the belief that they can be compromised any point of time. Then digital identity. Initially, we used to log in with our email IDs, then OTPs, then you have two-factor authentication, whatnot. You have retina identification. So identity is moving towards unique identity for an entity. So that's something which is foremost, because we have a lot of field devices which are currently in play, which can be hacked into any point of time. And if you would know, in the recent Israel Hamas um, war, a lot of Indian hackers are at play, trying to hack into the security systems of the Hamas group and all that. So hacking is something which can happen to anyone. Hacking, phishing, whatever you call it. Cyber security is a very important concept, and we have many such trends, as I had mentioned about zero trust architecture, digital identity, we call it privacy engineering. All these are current trends. The next in the list is clean energy. Today, US, China, India, and Europe contribute to 60% of the emissions across the world. In the last COP26, close to 60% of the countries have pledged to be a net zero by 2050. If you look at fossil fuels, today we are, 75% of fossil fuels are petrol and gasoline. 75% of that fuel is being used by the automotive sector. By close to 2050, that is expected to come down by 40%. So what is expected to go up? We are talking about hydrogen-based fuels, solar and wind energy. Although not in the automotive sector, they are going to, right now it is hardly anything. We are talking about EV. Currently, if you look at in Europe, 20% of the total vehicles are EV vehicles. In US, 5% are EV vehicles. India, we don't even talk in terms of percentages. We are still less. But by 2027, it is expected that close to 37% of the vehicles on the road are supposed to be EV. Okay. With respect to industrial emissions, we talk about CCUS, carbon captures, utilization, and storage. These are certain functionalities which prevent emission from industries, because emission from industries are something which definitely plays havoc with the environment. And if you have to have a net zero, it means zero emissions. So there are multiple technologies. We call it DAC, BECS, IPSC, and all this. These are different technologies used in the industries to minimize the carbon emissions.
Yeah.
So wind and solar energy is expected to grow into double figures, 11% close to around. But then, although they are renewable energy and renewable source of energies, they would take a longer gestation period. Last but not the least, sustainable fuels. If you talk about sustainable fuels, HVO, hydrogenated vegetable oil. The only problem with sustainable oils is that they may not be used in auto, but definitely in aviation sector, they're going to play a major role. But the base stock availability is a problem for sustainable fuels. The last trend which I would like to highlight is mobility. When you talk about mobility, it is autonomous vehicles. We are talking about autonomous vehicles, connected vehicles, then obviously EV for electrification. You have batteries. The lithium costs have come down drastically. Hopefully, we have much more. From earlier charging at a charging station, now you have dismantleable batteries, which the costs are definitely coming down. Then smart mobility, I would say connected vehicles is something. And another important aspect is about alternate forms of transportation. It could be gas based, it could be uh, sharing. I mean, China's getting into a lot many such areas like that. So these are some of the trends which I feel that are going to rule the roost in the next couple of, I would say, decades, and definitely would be like to be a part of those.
Yes. And we just hope that, technology grows for better.
Yeah, every day you have a new
That's
technology.
very much important.
I mean, there are many. I mean, few I've just listed out. You talk about quantum computing. You talk about Web3 development, and yeah, many such trends which are in place. But these are something which were relevant, so I thought I will just bring
Definitely.
it to the fore here.
So, as you know, we are building a community of industry magnets. The move is meant for cross pollination of knowledge and building a knowledge sharing community of corporate giants and industry experts. So, what are your thoughts about this initiative taken about by Mr. Zishan Pathan, Mr. Hemal Mehta, and the whole World Development Corporation team?
Yeah, first of all, I would like to congratulate your team for taking this initiative for planning a program. I would say you are the early starters. Now I've started seeing sustainability related courses in the media, but you were the early starters. Well, that's something which is really good. Having a common community, a body where exchange of ideas, exchange of views is definitely a welcome measure. It goes a long way in the purpose of sustainable future, where the leaders, experts in the respective fields can share their thought process, views. So I would say this is a definitely a welcome step in the right direction, and I'm all for it.
That's really very great. So, thank you for these really kind words. It was fantastic conversing with you, and I'm confident that your insights will inspire future leaders. Thank you so much for joining us today, Mr. Ajay Kumar Krishnan. We wish you the best for your future endeavors. Moreover, trust that this initiative by Directors Institute unquestionably has expanded the participants' understanding and enriched their minds. And all the wonderful principles and teachings that you've shared with us throughout this interview, I'm sure like everyone watching this, it is going to help them grow in their careers as well.
Thank you, Philip.
Thank you.